Hello, and welcome to the eLearning and Instructional Design for Beginners podcast, where new and aspiring instructional designers start, grow, and advance their careers in instructional design and online learning development. I'm your host, Crystal Harper. I'm a former school teacher who transitioned to instructional design, all while working full-time as a single mom. Would you like to become a successful instructional designer without the burden of earning another degree? Well, then let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's eLearning and Instructional Design for Beginners interview series. Today's interview, I'm talking with Kim Tuohy.
Thank you. I'm very flattered to be on your channel, so thank you for having me. It got started, I really think, when I was a little girl, because I wanted to have my own business. I encourage other people that are like looking at this career, looking to change careers, just their own journey in life, that there's clues in your childhood, and to really like explore them and what they mean for you in your adult life. I was like, this is really cool. Like my interests and my passion as a human being are aligned to this. And I was like, I know what my business is going to be in. It's going to be instructional design and e-learning because I love it.
I love it. That's so amazing. That's really cool. It sounds really similar to my story. Wow.
That's what we're about.
How do you maintain a business in instructional design?
You cannot be complacent on trying to sustain and grow your business. Number one thing is everyone needs to have in their calendar every single day a commitment to a business building activity. So that reminder comes up and you are doing whatever that business building activity looks like. And what could that be? It might be reaching out to existing contacts to let them know, I have this business, this is what I'm about. Or to people that know nothing about you on LinkedIn and letting them know that you exist. It could be reaching out to old clients and saying, hey, like, how's that project we worked on going? It could be writing a blog post. It could be making a YouTube video. Any activity that is going to expose you to the world and let them know that you exist and what you're about and how you might help their life become easier is basically a business building activity. And I believe that as a business owner, you must do it every single day. Quite happens because I coach freelancers a lot. When times are really good and they sign big contracts, and then what happens? They are like, oh, I'm really busy. I can't take any more work. And then the contract ends and they're like, oh my God, I have no income and I have to go find contracts. And contracts in our industry can take like months to sign. So you cannot just be on day zero being like, where is my next client coming from? So it has to be a daily activity. And it is basically you trying to help someone solve a problem that you have the skill set to solve. And that can be like job applications as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like, it's about like making the connections with people a lot, like you were saying before.
Yeah, there's a lot of like relationships.
Right.
You know, and if you know those relationships, like people from 5 years ago will reach out and I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I do remember who you are, but where have you been all my life? You know, 5 years has passed. And they're like, but that impact you had back then was really important. And you've been in the back of my mind and now we're ready. So our industry tends to be like a lot of word of mouth because it's trust, right? And everyone wants to work with people that they like and can trust and know that's reliable. And it's a lot easier to get work with people for being a nice human being, first of all, and working with people that resonate and are aligned on a values level, as opposed to someone making a phone call to your business and saying, hey, can you send me a quote? Or like responding to a request for quote or a tender or procurement process, because then they don't know you and you really have to demonstrate why you're like the best option to support them on their journey, because you're basically competing. And for me, my philosophy is I don't want to convince people to work with Belvista Studios or to choose to learn with us. If we haven't convinced you through whatever we're doing already, we're probably not aligned. So I wanted to make it a guarantee and the less risky option for people to work with us. So whatever that looks like for the people that are listening and watching this, have a think about what that is for you.
I love that. I love your mindset on how, I mean, it just seems way less stressful just thinking of it in those terms.
Just, you got to value yourself.
Right.
And when you value yourself, the right people that value you will be attracted. And then it's a really lovely commitment, partnership, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you're directly working with them too. So
yeah,
I'm sure it's a lot more pleasant of a relationship. So I noticed that Belvista Studios consistently guides the significance of understanding storyboards for instructional design. Why is this important to you?
I think a storyboard is an opportunity to pause and plan to solve the right problem. And I think we don't always solve the right problem in our industry. It needs to happen because we have a very big responsibility, big impact through the solutions that we create. We're creating better humans. Better humans are created through the solutions we create. Now, if we go in and do a reactive solution, a tick the box exercise, a band-aid learning solution, it gives our industry a bad name. No one wants to do learning because they don't enjoy it. It doesn't add value to their lives. But we have a really important responsibility to create a better human race through the code of conduct, through the health and safety, through the leadership, through the communication skills, whatever it is we're training on. And I believe that a storyboard is done, we pause. We have to think, what is the problem I'm trying to solve? Who am I solving this problem for? What do they care about? What's important to them? What does this look like in their world? Not what the business is telling me, not what my subject matter expert is telling me, but what is it like in their world? And that is, a storyboard is just an opportunity to plot that out and put the flow into place, to send it out for feedback, to check and validate that you're on the right track, that your solution is going to add value to their life. And then when it's ready to go, then you can develop it into whatever it is, and it will just be more effective, I believe.
Definitely. Yeah, storyboards they're so detailed.
What do you think is the benefit of a storyboard?
Being able to organize all of the content, and it has every little criteria necessary. I mean, it just helps anyone who's trying to make the design much easier.
No, it's so true. Like, an instructional design goal is to simplify the complex.
Right.
And a storyboard is a great place for us to do that, right? We have a storyboard template. There's so many. But if I think about ours, it's free if anyone wants to download it. So we do it in PowerPoint. On every screen is the spot for us to put a learning objective. Mm-hmm. And when it's at the top of the screen, it really holds you accountable. You're like, what do I need on this screen? Mm. Is this need to know or is this nice to know? And it helps you think about, what do I actually need to put in my storyboard? So I think it is, like you say, it's a really nice kind of accountability, very important piece of our role.
What do you think is the most gratifying aspect of a career in instructional design and e-learning?
My personal experience is I got into it for the right reasons. That was like, start with why. What is my why? What am I passionate about? Problem solving, helping people be better people, be creative. And like in instructional design and e-learning, you have to do that every day because you're like being creative to solve the problem, to brainstorm the idea of like, what activity can we run? How should this training be? Should it be a job aid? Should it be an infographic? Should it be e-learning? So we get to be creative. We get to design it, make it look cool. Like we have graphic design skills, user interface, all of that stuff to make it look eye-catching and attractive and those first impressions. So that's cool. Our industry is just so important for the success of so many aspects, especially in corporate land. You know, we help them make money. We help them achieve strategic objectives. We help their employees have better work-life balance, better morale, better employee experiences. For me, it's like very gratifying because it's all aligned to my personal passion and interest. So that's why I figure out what it is for you and get into the industry for the right reasons. But I really love that it's all different and it changes all the time, but yet it's still the same because essentially we're just problem solvers and we get to decide how do we solve the problem in the most effective way, which is a process. But it's like, well, are we today helping a mine dig for some mineral in the ground to help save some tree in another country? Or are we helping a supervisor have a more effective conversation with that staff member? You know, so that's pretty cool.
I know. I love it. That's super cool. That's one thing really awesome about instructional design is just the versatility and then how much you learn too. I mean, I was a teacher, so I went from teaching and I loved learning, getting to learn all these new things. Like it's constantly learning. You have to learn it to create the course. So, I mean, in a way.
Definitely. Yeah. How cool like that we get to learn for our job. Like we can listen to podcasts all day. We can learn different topics. We can work in so many different industries. Like every industry needs us. So you can work in in like airline, beauty, I don't know, anything, like not for profit, for profit, doesn't matter. So it's kind of like, what's my personal interest? I love the NBA, like I love basketball. Well, they can be your client, or you can go work for them, in the sports world. Everyone needs us. So it's just like very cool.
Yeah, you're right. If someone were interested in any topic at all, like you could find your way in there, that's pretty cool.
Everyone's got problems and we know how to solve them.
That's very true.
You could be a therapist as well.
And we are their problem solvers.
Yeah.
If I am a beginner and would like to transition to instructional design, what would you suggest the first thing that I do?
I'm going to assume that you've done your soul searching and this is the right career move for you. The first thing that you need to do is you need to design your ultimate life. Figure out how you want to spend every day, how many holidays you want per year, where you want to travel to, what kind of family lifestyle you want, how's your spirituality, how your relationships, what kind of projects you want to work on. What does your day look like if it was the ultimate one? And you'd be so satisfied with it. And then you go, okay, how do I make that happen in 10 years? And now how do I make it happen in 5? How do I make it happen in 2? And what you do by working it back from ultimate life all the way back is that you get basically your own development plan. And it is very strategic, because when you go from 12 months to, okay, well, how do I make that lifestyle? What does that look like in 12 months? What do I need to do every single month between now and the next 12 months to make it happen? And then you look at it in terms of every week. You kind of see, okay, well, I've got this much free time and I can take on these kinds of projects. And then I've got this time to go out and hang out with friends and have dinner dates and maybe go for a road trip and do a hike at the weekend, and what it looks like. And then that's why you craft a lifestyle. So you'll have a very clear vision for your life, so that all of the decisions you make then, such as what jobs you apply for, how you write your resume, when you apply for something and when you choose not to apply, what client projects you want to work on, which ones you don't want to work on, that all reveals itself. You just kind of naturally living your life day to day, achieving what it is that you want.
Wow.
There's Google for everything else.
Right. That is true. That makes sense. I think that's the best advice ever, honestly. Like, instead of saying, oh, start with your resume or whatever, focus on your life. And it's almost how we learn in instructional design. It's like, start with the goal and then work your way backwards. Kind of the same way I guess our minds work.
It is. Honestly, instructional design is a life skill. I apply instructional design to like how I decide when I'm eating for dinner. Like, it's like exceptional.
Okay. My last question is, what is your favorite quote?
My quote for you is just to have no regret. Just live that way. This thing is presenting itself to me. What would no regrets look like? The other flip side of that I always say is, what does love look like in this moment? For you, for the other person, whatever. What does love look like in this moment? And go do that.
But looking
and
at
sometimes love looks like crawling into bed and crying into your pillow. Like something like that. That's okay. Or sitting on the couch all day eating Nutella from the jar. Sometimes love looks like giving the person that's screaming at you a hug. And sometimes it's well done. You did really good there. You should be proud.
Okay. Well, that's all my questions that I have for you. So please tell everyone the free gift that we were talking about earlier.
Free gift. You can have multiple gifts. So over on the Creator Hub, so creatorhub.belvistastudios.com, there is a place called Freebies. And there is basically all the templates that we're giving out free that we use with our clients on our projects. So there's a storyboard template, there's a quality assurance template, there's a user acceptance template, project brief questions. What questions should you ask a stakeholder or client when a project's kicking off? There's case studies, there's heaps. How to write an effective scenario guide. Just go check out that resource, get all of your resources and make your life easier. We've figured them out for you.
Awesome. And I will provide a link to everyone watching this video as well. Those resources, I looked at them myself and they look super cool. Thank you so much, Kim, for being open and expressing yourself and your business. And I really love your mindset on how you look at your business, how you are bringing in clients, how you found your employees. Thank you, Kim, so much for joining us today. It was super awesome interviewing you. I think that everyone listening or watching is going to learn a lot, and I hope that they take advantage of your free resources and the Creator Hub, and I will share a link to that below.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Very grateful to have the opportunity to share love.
All right, now that wraps up this week's eLearning and Instructional Design for Beginners podcast episode. Now it's time for you to go out there and take action on what you learned about instructional design today. Remember, you don't have to earn another degree and get a formal education in order to become successful in the field of instructional design. That's why I started the eLearning and Instructional Design for Beginners Mastermind. I would love to have you as an eLearning and Instructional Design for Beginners Mastermind member. My program is a proven step-by-step process you can use for a successful career in instructional design and create online courses from scratch. I offer a free membership that gives you the tools and resources you need to successfully start a career in instructional design and e-learning. To learn more, go to eteachonline.com/join.